Now we are going to learn a new rule in Grasshopper. And right now I'm going to create some points. Uh, we can simply just select a point in this toolbar or just type point and select. And then just as like as AutoCAD, when I enter or press space, I will create some points. Then in Grasshopper, in the canvas, I double click in the canvas. There will be a search keyword, enter a search keyword. Then I type point and right click on the component, and instead of select set one point, I will select set multiple points and then choose all of these points. Then press enter or space or right click. So these points are connected to this component. To see the data in this component, I will use panel. So again, double click on the canvas and type panel and then connect these two. So I can see that I have 11 points. As you can remember, there will be points from the number is start from 0. So basically it means that we have 11 points. As you can see, the line between these two is in double because it has multiple datas. If you cannot see this in double wire, that's because in display you have turned off draw fancy wires. So please make sure to uh, draw fancy wires should be selected. Now, for example, I'm going to change the data in this component to see what will happen in panel. Again, I will right click and set multiple points. For example, choose these points. And now it is shown that we have 2 points. Or for example, I can again set multiple points, but this time I will select the points one by one. 2, 3, 4, and select. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points I have selected, and now in the panel is shown that I have 5 points. Again, for example, when I press set multiple points and then choose this point, then this point, then this point, and then I don't know if I have selected this point or not. For example, so I will double click on this and then this and then this and double click on this and enter. It is shown that I have 7 points, which means, which basically in Rhino I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But why it is shown that I have 7 points? It's because in some points I've selected twice. So please make sure that you don't mistake and select each point just once. Or for example, when you set multiple points or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and select this point 5 times, uh, in Rhino I just have 1 point, but in Grasshopper it says that I have 5 points. So each time I select the same point, it will be counted in the data in Grasshopper. So this simple way is just set multiple points and draw a window and select all of these points Uh, so it will be in this way. I will don't make a mistake. So when I set multiple points and select all of them, as you can see, it will draw the lines in the sequence I have created these points. So in order to understand the sequence of these points that are connected to each other, there is a component that will show this sequence, which is draw list. So I double click on Rhine on Grasshopper and I type um, excuse me, point list. I will type point list, which is here. What points do is connect points to points. And for example, I will give a size to it. For example, 2. So now I will understand the sequence of these points that I've created. In order to uh, create this number, because the input of this component is uh, a number which is created in panel, I can just type panel and then write 2 or the simpler way is double slash and then 2, which creates panel easily. So we can see the sequence of these points in Rhino. The point that we should consider in generating these points and these numbers is the sequence is based on the generating the points on Rhino. For example, when I set multiple points and I choose this, you can see the sequence of uh, generating these points 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to change the place of the point, and again, for example, the place of this point, which is 4, and then select set multiple points, and again set multiple points, set this. You can see the points that the number of the point that was 4, when I replace when I disposition it, when I've moved it, the sequence is also changed. This is really important for our future algorithms and parametric designs to consider the sequence of these points. Uh, the reason is because when we move each point, the grasshopper uh, think that this moving is generating a new point. So the point that I moved become the last point. So as you can see, the sequence of these points are so messy. For example, when I again uh, set multiple points and select this, you can see that it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But how we can generate so in order to make this sequences a bit better, we should set multiple points and select them one by one. For example, 1, 2, 3. In this situation, it will start from 0 and will end with, for example, 5. Okay. Now I use polyline. Again, double click on grasshopper and type polyline. And connect this. What polyline do is just simply connect, generate actually a direct line between these 2 points, between these points. Another input in polyline is closed. If we type /1 and then connect this, it means that it will be closed. If I type and 0, it means it will be open. Another component that we will use in this situation is Boolean toggle. So again, double click on canvas and we can find Boolean toggle here. Also, we can find these components in this toolbar. For example, in params, in input, there is some components and one of them is Boolean toggle or everything. We can find them here. Boolean toggle can generate false and true. So when it is true, it means it will be closed. When it is false, it means it should be open. So 1 and 0, 1 means true, 0 means false, and also Boolean toggle can be helpful here. So I'm going to delete these points, and then again I will generate some points. So and point sets multiple points, enter, and now I'm going to use another component, which is interpolate. Again, we can find these components. For example, I can find interpolate because it is curve in this toolbar in curve, and then in splines here. What interpolate do is, when I connect them, is going to generate a curve, and rather than direct actually lines, it will have a continuous curve. And the input up here, which is degree, we can specifically determine the curve degree, which again /1 and then connect it to degree. It will be same as polyline. But for example, if I change it to 3 and then OK, it will be interpolate, it will be curve. Periodic means actually acts the same as closed or not closed. So when I double slash and one, double slash one and enter, it will be closed, or 0, it will be open. Or again, if we make a copy of this, and it's the Boolean toggle in periodic will be also useful. And now, for example, in perspective, if I move these areas, it will be updated. So the connection will remain the same. Now we have line. In order to make a surface, I will use the component patch, which we will have. We have this actually this rules, these components in Rhino in AutoCAD, and the same is here in Grasshopper. So again, in this toolbar, for example, if I'm looking for a surface, generating a surface from this line, I can look for it in Grasshopper in this toolbar, or I can simply type, double click on canvas and type patch. So when I connect this two curves to each other, the surface will be generated. Even if we just move these points. Anyway, when we have closed polyline, we always can have surface. But when it's not closed, the surface will look like this. Now I'm going to generate not so messy points to have a better surface, for example this, and then set multiple points, choose this, and this will happen. There's a component in Rhino which is customer preview, custom preview, excuse me. It has geometry and material. When I connect this to geometry, actually the geometry, the preview will shown, and the material that I also can select it in Grasshopper. For material, we can also use various components. For example, color swatch here. When I connect it, if it's whatever actually, what color that I would like to choose, it's possible. Or Again, I can use panel, for example, double click on it, double slash and yellow, and then connect it to material, so I have yellow surface. Now when I change the view to rendered, it will shown this way. For example, and okay, now I will turn off the preview of this, and again I'm going to use another component, which is divide surface. So double click on canvas and divide surface. I choose the divide surface component and then connect patch to this. So the divide surface generated a grid of points on a surface in U count and V count. So I mean in U direction and V direction. It also has very useful outputs such as normal vectors and division points. For example, I would like to divide this surface in the direction of U 15 times. In order to generate number slider, I can also double click and type number slider, or just simply type the number. So it shows that in the direction of U how many divisions will happen, also in the direction of V. And what is normals? Normals is the lines which is perpendicular to the surface. So it's really important for parametric design because based on that it will divide the surface. So when now I double click on the surface and use circle, with the radius of, for example, oops, okay. For example, I want the number slider between 1 and for example, I want a number slider between um, um, it will be between 55 to 99 points. I'm going to disable preview of this point to have not so messy preview. As you can see, all of these circles are aligned with the earth, aligned with this context, which means they are parallel to this surface. Now I'm going to extrude this circle. So for extrude, I will double click on canvas and type extrude and connect the circle to base. In order to extrude, we should specify the direction. For example, I will choose unit Z and then connect it, and then in order to specify the factor, the number, for example, /2, and or for example it can be minus, so I will type -5 and it will be like this. And when we use the component of extrude, it won't be solid. So in order to make this circles and the cylinders solid, I will use cap holes to make this solid. Now if I change the preview in rendered and then I'm going to disable preview and all of these. And I will enable preview in custom. And I will connect this to this, connect the custom preview to Irap, and I will going to disable this preview and I would like to change it to white. And then going to hide this too. So what we have is we have generated this algorithmic and parametric modules which can easily change in Rhino by moving these points, and you can see that it can be easily modified. So I'm going to save this algorithm, and I'm going to make it a group and save this algorithm so you can um, try it to generate the same module.